Then, if you're not within these three exceptions, the OSHA now applies to you.
My name is 𝐁𝐚𝐬𝐤𝐬, employment lawyer and the principal of 𝐁𝐚𝐬𝐤𝐬 Chambers.
Now, the objective or the purpose of the OSHA Act is an act to make further provisions for the securing safety, health, and welfare of persons at work, to protecting others against risk to safety or health in concern with activities at work, and also for the government to establish the National Council for Occupational Safety and Health. So this is a law that Malaysia came up with to enhance the safety, health, and welfare of people at work. So bear in mind, don't forget about that. This is the purpose of the act. We are not complying just because the law insists that we do, otherwise we will get penalty. That is true. We want to comply so that we don't breach the law and we don't get into trouble. But more importantly, we need to comply because we want to provide a safe, healthy work environment to our employees. So who does this act apply to? Who falls within the coverage of this act? If you look at the Schedule 1, it lists down these sectors whereby this act applies to: manufacturing, mining and quarrying, construction, agriculture, forestry and fishing, utility sectors such as electricity, gas, water, and sanitary services, transport, storage and communication, wholesale and retail trades, hotels and restaurants, finance, insurance, real estate and business services, and public services and statutory authorities. So these are sectors which this act applies to. So you may think that, oh, if I'm not part of this sector, for example, I'm in a law firm, I'm a legal service, I'm not part of this sector, then I don't need to apply to consider this OSHA at all. I don't need to care about it. It doesn't apply to me. Well, you may think so, and you think that, okay, then I can switch off and don't need to listen to Louis anymore because it doesn't apply to me. It's not one of the sectors. But you wish lah. Why I say you wish is because the first key major change that is brought about by the amendment is that now there is no longer a list of sectors that this act applies to. Instead, this act now applies to all workplaces throughout Malaysia, including in the public services and authorities. This act now applies to all places of work. So everybody is now covered and everybody has to comply with this act, except only three sections, which is domestic servant, meaning the maid that you have at home, armed forces, as well as those working on ships. I assume at least 99% of you do not fall within these three exceptions. You are not domestic servant, armed forces, or work on board ships. Then, if you're not within these three exceptions, the OSHA now applies to you. So before this, people say, oh yeah, it doesn't apply to me, so why do I need to read about it? Why do I need to comply with it? I don't need to care about it. But that is no longer the case beginning 1st June 2024. Now OSHA applies to you unless you are in one of these three exceptions. So now everybody has to look at OSHA and start applying the provisions in the Act.